Duraluminum is the penultimate metal in Dune Awakening. It is required to craft basically anything in the 5th tier of crafting, and you will need insane quantities of it. 1 to 1000 litres of storage, that's 1.5 thousand Duraluminum among other things. 1 to tier 5 Ornithopter, that's 350 for the Scout, 450 for the Assault. You like those advanced Fremen death stills, don't you? 1 corpse equals 45 litres and only takes 50 minutes. Well, each one is 240 Duraluminum. The list goes on. Directional wind turbines for that fantastic 350 power, 120 each. Large wind traps for some sweet passive water, 240 each. And of course the basic filter they take, the particulate filter, can be stacked to 3 days using 6 of them, providing you with 453.6 litres of water over that period. The primary material for the filter being Duraluminum, 36 for the 6 filters over 3 days. There is more, but I mean, it's getting ridiculous, and you guys get the point, right? You need a huge amount to make all the stuff you want to, so min-maxing your gathering of Duraluminum, at least to the level that suits you, is absolutely worth it. To this end, I've separated Duraluminum production into 3 distinct methods. The simple method, the basic but efficient method, and the sweaty / only really worth it for guilds method. The simple method is the normal method that almost every player will do to varying degrees of efficiency. You see, to make Duraluminum, you simply put aluminum ingots, jasmine crystals and water into a medium or large ore refinery and press go. You get those jasmine crystals from the irradiated zone in Sheol, the final and most dangerous part of the Hagar Basin, which is also the only tier 5 zone in the Hagar Basin, and so absolutely worth plundering. The various shipwrecks, a cave or two, the Harkonnen base, these all hold some great pre-deep desert plants that are worth gathering while you grab your jasmine to make Duraluminum. The jasmine crystal deposits can be found in these irradiated sludge pits. Just mine them with your cut array and hey presto, you got yourself some swish crystals. Now, to do this efficiently, you will want a hazmat suit. The Mark IV will do, but a Mark V, while only a few % higher in protection, will massively increase the time you can spend in the radiation zones. On top of that, crafting iodine pills, which granted require Duraluminum to craft, are great to extend your trips further later on. If you are just flying in with your Ornithopter to cut away some crystals to fill your and your Thopter, then leave, a Mark IV hazmat without pills will be enough. Just keep an eye on the radiation symbol. When it hits 75%, it will go solid, so unless you keep track of it, you won't know how long you have left. This is a real pain, as you won't know if it's safe to fly out of the zone without dying mid-air from radiation poisoning and having your Thopter plummet into the open sands. So you should absolutely use the best suit you have access to and keep checking the rad icon every 30 seconds or so. To get those radiation suits, well, I haven't made a single one myself, and if you farm some places like the Beastclaw Harkonnen base, the Misa Terrell base, the other Harkonnen base in Sheol, and the southern ship that isn't in the rad zone, the bigger chests in these can often drop rad suits. I have repaired a few but never had to make one, and I generally have 4 Mark V spares at all times, so farming your plans will also get you the suits nice and cheap. One more thing you need to know about radiation in Dune Awakening is that there are 3 levels of it. Level 1 and 2 are basic levels that, provided you have a suit, you can last for a good few minutes in. Most of Sheol is one of these. Level 3 is basically just delayed insta-kill. Level 3 can only be hit by stepping in the irradiated sludge. While level 2 is just twice level 1, level 3 is like 5 times level 2 and will kill you in seconds. So no matter what, don't step in the sludge, and if you do, get the hell out of it ASAP. Never stand in it to get a bit close to the deposit so you can mine it better. To summarise, simple is just putting on radiation gear, flying to irradiated puddles with deposits in them, mine the deposit without stepping in the goo, fill your inventories and profit. So what's the next level of efficiency? The efficient method is bringing a buggy into the mix. It's overall very low effort to set up, for massive efficiency increases going forward. To do this, you will want a devoted base for this task. Building your main base here isn't really efficient, as you want your main base near aluminium ore, so for the basics of increasing your jasmine crystal gathering efficiency, you'll want to build a base on one of these 2 islands. Though others in the rad zone are fine, these 2 just happen to be outside of the rad zone and so present a safe haven where you can drop off gear, change, etc. On top of that, these locations are very close to the edge of the map as well, which makes it really easy for you to fast travel from the other end of the map to that end via going into the overworld map. If you have a choice, I'd recommend the southernmost island, as this is right by a shipwreck that is not in the rad zone. While PvP, it's a bit out of the way and the chest inside is very quick to get to, and often drops plans like Adept Triple Shot Rifle or some such, the Hadra Litajon Mark V, and the best Tier 5 Sniper Rifle for Fizz Best. I've sold a whole lot of those plans on the auction house. It's a great little place to get some extra cash. This base really only needs a basic fabricator so that you can craft welding wire without having to grab the damn salvage metal from the storage manually. A storage container so you can more easily chain move items from buggy to thopter, as well as store salvage metals and maybe a spare welding torch or two. If you are storing your rad suits here, you're going to want to build a repair station and store some extra silicon blocks here for your repairs. You'll also need a place big enough to hold your buggy behind a pentashield. A landing pad on the roof under a shield would be convenient but not required, as you should just store your thopter while you're out in the buggy anyway, as an emergency escape if you misjudge your radiation exposure. Lastly, the buggy itself will need a Mark V cutter ray on it or better. This is another thing I've never crafted myself. I've had maybe 5 drop for me while looting the Harkonnen base in Sheol and also the PvE shelf testing stations in the deep desert. So either getting 1 to drop while farming other plans, or if it doesn't, using the money from the plans farming to buy a half broken one off the auction house may be preferable to crafting your own, but it's up to you. In the buggy, your efficiency will be hugely increased for crystals over time. However, the storage of the buggy is also much bigger than your thopter, and so you'll take a while to fill it. With my big buggy boots Mark V, it takes me right to the end of the rope when using a Mark V radiation suit with an iodine pill used once at the beginning. Iodine pills last only 10 minutes, but that one use adds a lot of time to the total, and if I'm quick, it's just about enough, but be careful. Having your thopter in your vehicle storage tool while out there is a must for emergencies. Driving between the islands may pucker your rear often, but it's honestly very unlikely you get eaten. You'd need to really screw around, driving long distances avoiding the rocky areas like some kind of shy haludi yandere. Just check the map as you go, drive the shortest distances between islands and you won't be on the sand long enough to be noticed. Also, great news, being in the vehicle means you cannot physically stand in the goo, which means you can drive through and into the goo without fear. This opens up those triple deposit areas that on the map look a little crescent moonish. These are nice and efficient, just drive into them, park in range of all 3, switch to cutter A to mine them, and then drive off to the next. Once full, just park the buggy back at the base and make an ornithopter trip full of crystals when you need more Duraluminum back at your main base. Now, it's time to get a sweat on and channel our inner love of patterns and numbers. How do you make it more efficient than having a buggy base right by the Jasmium deposits? You outfit that base to be able to refine the Duraluminum too. Now I know what you're thinking, Zane, that sounds like a whole lot of work to set up a second base with its own water supply and refinery just to save a few trips in the ornithopter. Yep, sure is. Whole lot of work, barely worth it for most. That's why I said it's the sweaty method only suitable for guilds and the serve as resident autist. Essentially, the big problem here is actually the water. The point of this base is to barely spend any time here at all, which makes death stills not too suitable, and so the only real options are wind traps, and they work damn well for this. To know what you need for this, you want to decide whether you'll be flying a scout or assault ornithopter when making the runs, as this decides whether you can carry 555 Duraluminum or 1111 back with you in a single trip, and how often you wish to perform this task. I'll put my spreadsheet linked in the description with a bunch of the maths done for the various options, but for me, I chose once per day and scout ornithopter. With a medium ore refinery, this means I would need to collect 2,220 jasmine crystals or more per run. Having storage at this base means that every so often I don't need to take the buggy out and can just instantly refine and leave. 555 Duraluminum requires 277.5 litres of water, and to get that in a day from wind traps, I need 5 of them. 5 wind traps over a day will produce 324 litres, and so 3 large cisterns and 1 medium will give you the non-waste version of the storage and allow for an extra 93 Duraluminum to be smelted, which, provided you make sure you have 84 volume free in your suit inventory on the way back, is fine and doable. Once set up, all I need to do is take 15 standard filters with me for the water and 648 aluminium ingots. Once there, transfer the aluminum to a storage, then put my thopter in the gun. Whack as much of the Duraluminum on as possible to refine while I'm out, based on the crystals left over from before. Put 3 filters in each wind trap. Get my rad suit on and jump in the buggy to fill up its storage. Then on return, put the rest to refine and chill while it finishes, before loading up the thopter and heading back to base. After the first trip, provided you have the buggy storage Mark 5 or better, you can hold enough jasmine for more than 2 full sets of duraluminum, meaning that you can have the entire set of ingots refined while you gather the crystals the next time, meaning little to no waiting around. Even if you don't intend to use it long term, the materials in this base, such as the large cistern and wind traps, can be brought back to the main base later on to increase water storage and production. Though I definitely leave it as a basic buggy base at the very least, having the buggy down there is a really nice balanced method. The spreadsheet is definitely worth checking out for the number of people in the chat, as it breaks down even the base material cost of the filters dependent on wind trap type and power requirements based on all generator types, etc. Be warned though, it's not really formatted for public use, so things may not be labelled super intuitively. I definitely got a little ridiculous towards the end, but I hope the video was illuminating and not too boring. Plenty more Dune stuff to watch from me, and a few more to come. Peace.